Discovery video 206. We're at Saratoga on a muddy racetrack for the Arthur G. Vanderbilt Handicap Grade 1. In this video, I'm going to talk about what's really important in races that are run on the wet track. Now, obviously I have covered this in the past, but the whole part of repetition is the way to learning. Absolutely, I believe in that. And this race was such a good example for two specific things. One of them being the fact that the track's muddy. What do we know? What do we know to look for when we know we have what's considered an off track? Okay, an off track would be labeled either good, muddy, sloppy, and some tracks have the designation of wet fast. And that's how the track would progress. Wet fast, then it becomes sloppy, then as it dries out a bit, becomes muddy, then as it dries out a bit more, it becomes good, and then finally when the moisture is out of the track, it's back to fast again. So in running that in reverse, we have fast, good, plenty of moisture in a track that's good, still. We gotta have fast, good, muddy, sloppy. That's the progression. What we got here is a muddy racetrack. Now, what's the most important thing? Okay. Let's say not the most important, but let's say real important. I know some members that absolutely swear by this, and I've witnessed it for a very long time, and it never ceases to amaze me. On the reports, there's only one horse that gets the Blue W designation. Now, what that means is the pedigree of the horse, both the sire and the dam sire, is analyzed in coming up with the Blue W. So it's not just the sire, but the dam sire. The sire, here we're looking at Speightstown, who was a champion sprinter. Excellent off-track pedigree, and the dam sire, Smartin, even stronger wet track pedigree. So only one horse in every race gets the Blue W. Another factor to look for in off-track is the designation wet. The horses that get that icon have a positive record on a track labeled either good, sloppy, muddy, or wet fast. A lot of people don't. Here's a mistake that a lot of horse players make. They don't consider a good track to be wet. When the track's labeled good, now think about it, psychologically, we're all trained to know what good and bad is. Okay? When we were children, we were told that, that's good. Okay? All right, so when we see the designation good on a racetrack, it isn't necessarily as good as fast. Fast is the ultimate, equalizer when a track is labeled as fast. It's back to fast is what you would call normal. In reality, fast is good. Good is not good. Good is off. Okay, but many horse players get thrown by that. So if they see a horse that maybe ran a good race on a good track, but is running today on a muddy or a sloppy track, they don't give that horse credit for the race run on the track label as good. Big mistake that most horse players make. Okay? Now, let's take a look at the odds near post time here and check this out. The 2-horse was 5-2. Has the wet track icon. Okay, understandably. Poseidon's Warrior, the value odds horse, second pick in the race, 30-1 on the morning line. Our true odds of 2-1 is going off at 35-1. Shackelford, and they fooled the public again. Shackelford is not a sprinter. He is a middle distance expert. I guarantee they ran him in this race as a preparatory to a race coming up. He's not a 6-furlong horse, yet the betting public, off of his name alone, thought he was superior enough to win the Grade 1 Vanderbilt on a muddy track of all other things. And if you look here, I don't see a wet designation icon, meaning he does not have a good record on a wet track. Strike 1. Strike 2. He's not a sprinter. If you followed the career of Shackelford, if you've even been involved in horse racing, you know that his best wins have come at a distance, either a middle or a little longer. And then Justin Philippe, 6-1, also has the wet track designation. Okay? So of the horses in Group A, the 2-horse MC has the wet icon, Justin Philippe has the wet icon, Poseidon's Warrior has the wet icon and the blue W, meaning the sire Speightstown and the dam sire Smartin together give this horse the best wet track pedigree. And the track was muddy at the time of post. Now, another interesting thing, oh, by the way, talk about how racing repeats itself, or history repeats itself. Speightstown not only was a champion sprinter, but won this race, the Vanderbilt, in that same year that he became the champion sprinter, winning the Breeders' Cup. And he won several races, he won all the big sprint races that year when he became the sprint champion. And he won the Arthur Vanderbilt, and I believe it was record time. I believe he set the track record in 108 flat. I'm not positive on that, but I believe at that time it was 108. That he ran a flat 108. And also Smartin, fantastic for wet track pedigree. So that's why he got the blue W. And there's an article on the Horse Racing Digest page, and it's something I wrote years ago. Middle column, down a ways. What to do when the track comes up wet, sloppy, muddy, off the turf, etc. A very, very short report. Many players won't wager on and off track. The situation actually offers great overlay opportunities. On the reports, we have certain things that work like gold on a wet track. Okay. Blue W, best wet track pedigree. Only one horse in every race can have this icon. The wet icon. Good record on a wet track. Okay. Something else that I noticed about this horse that I find extremely interesting is the best RE class rating. See that icon there? Look at that rating there. You know, if you've been following us for a while, you know that the RE class rating has come up big in Grade 1 races. Okay? This is a Grade 1 race. And I wrote an article several years ago about it. How unique class ratings can predict the future performance. A very good example was a huge edge in RE class rating that Ruler on Ice, 24-1 odds, had in the 2011 Belmont Stakes. This article explains in detail there's a very interesting parallel between Ruler on Ice and the 2008 Belmont Stakes winner, Datara, at 38-1 odds. So here was Ruler on Ice with a big, huge 51 RE class rating. And there is Datara with a big 81 in those two races we talked about. RE class is an indicator of what is anticipated for today's race and is also multi-talented. Even though the name recent class seems to hint that it just measures a horse's most recent races. It does do that, however, it does much more. What makes RE class rating special is that it anticipates or makes a prediction of the class level a horse will show in today's race. As you can imagine, many long shot winners have the highest RE class because there isn't a widespread usage of this rating. I mean, I developed the rating a very, very long time ago. So the only place it exists is on our reports. And of course, you know, that's that. Its usage, and here, that's basically what I say here. Its usage is confined to the subscribers of Full Card Reports. Any horse going off at high odds that has the highest RE class rating should be considered a live long shot. And like I showed you, the 2008 and 2011 Belmont Stakes and countless other Grade 1 races, I've noticed the horse with the best RE class rating wins at high odds. So those are the two important things that I thought, well, ultimately, the most important thing about this video is the power of the Blue W. And the second most important thing about this video is RE class in Grade 1 races. Grade 1 races. Okay, those are some of the things I've noticed. So why did the betting public not touch this horse? Very simple. Excuse me. The horse is coming out of a non-impressive finish position at Monmouth, and previous to that was running in Pennsylvania. The New York bettors really don't respect the Jersey horse, the Monmouth horses. Although if this horse had won that Monmouth race, and I don't care the class level, but if he had won that race, he might have got a little action. But they certainly do not like horses running at any track in Pennsylvania, which would be Philly Park, which they call Parks now, and that's where he was 2 prior races. This is the quick FAR report that we're looking at right now, okay? If we want more information, we have to click on the Diamond Report on the members page, and I've highlighted the last 5 races here and the tracks. All of these tracks, Monmouth, Parks, Penn National, Delaware Park, especially Penn National. When they see a horse that ran at Penn National, here the New York bettors think this. No horse, and I'm going to get to a final point about this, and I've mentioned it countless times in the past, but the New York bettors have the mindset that no horse that runs at Penn National could ever in a gazillion years win a Grade 1 race at Saratoga. Impossible. And also Philly Park, and you know that's the mindset. Now, 30 years ago, that was true. 30 years ago, horses that raced at Penn National never could ever go to Saratoga, or horses that race at Philly Park could never go to Saratoga and win. But as I've talked about, the pedigree, the breeding, the way they breed horses has changed tremendously over the years. Okay? And because of that, there is a pronounced I can't think of the word, but there's more of a balance in track to track than there was 25, 30 years ago. Maybe even 20 years ago was really when the pedigree and the breeding started to be different. They started breeding horses differently, okay? And because of that, you have seen in the last couple of years, in this video is 2012, you've noticed, and I've noticed in 2012, 2011, 2010, okay, especially those last 3 years, horses that are coming over and winning at tracks that in the past, the horses that come from those tracks never, ever had a shot. And that's why they let this one go at 35 to 1. But judging by the number of emails I got, there was a lot of Full Card Reports members on this one because, well, it's a value odds horse, number one, and I haven't even mentioned that, but I think one time in the video. He's got the best early and middle pace. That's always nice to have in a 6 furlong race. He can either stalk the lead or be on the lead. But the most important thing is that Blue W. And when it also has the wet icon, pretty impressive. He stalked the lead here. He had the pace advantage. And perfect trip, really. They went out kind of fast, 21-4, 44-3, and then they kind of hit a wall after 5 furlongs. Finished up at 109-4, which is okay. Yeah, there's the track record, 108. That was set by Poseidon's Warrior, sire, Speightstown. Set that record of 108 in this exact race. I believe it was around 8 years ago. Excuse me. 2004, I believe, was the year he was the champion sprinter. But, finishing in 109-2 is nowhere near. But, hey, a win is a win. And here again, once again, we seem to get those close finishes. The horses that win by a neck, a nose, a head, they seem to go our way at an alarming positive, way more than average rate. Final odds here, 36 to 1, and it ran. Shackelford finished last. Okay, like I said, they fooled the public here. This was nothing more than a preparatory race for something longer coming up. But the betting public just got sucked in. 5-3-2 is how it finished. And what do you know? Not only did we have our Poseidon's Warrior with the W in the wet track, but the 3, Justin Philippe, the other horse in Group A with the wet track designation, and the only other horse with the wet track designation in Group A. So, of the 4 horses in Group A, 3 of them had the wet track designation, and that's who finished the trifecta, which paid $1,500. And then the double, the daily double with the combination in the next race paid over $800. $74.50 on the Win Mutual. The exacta was $359. Okay, so very strong factors in this race for the Blue W and the wet icon. So very important, and that's how I titled this video. Do you know the real important factors in races run on a wet track? And even though I have done many videos on this in the past, and I wrote that article all those articles quite a long time ago. It all still holds true. It all still works like gold. Now, not every Blue W horse is going to win every race run on a wet track, but certainly if you have a horse that has other things to like and has the Blue W, it's worth considering. Okay? And then, of course, I also mentioned about the RE class in Grade 1 races. So, this was worth making a video on, absolutely. Several members asked me to please make a video. I mean, a lot of them already, the fact that the horse was a value odds horse, even though it wasn't a preferred race, still they bet these horses, and it was kind of hard to resist on a muddy track with the blue icon and the green and wet icon, and Speightstown champion sprinter as the sire, who won this race, I think back in 2004, the year he was the champion sprinter, and also won the Breeders' Cup sprint. And then the horse Smartin on the other side of the pedigree gave this one the outstanding wet track pedigree of any horse in this race. Okay? It's powerful stuff. Nobody besides users of full card reports had this information set up like this, where it was obviously standing out. Okay? So that's why I say, what you got to do is learn how to read the reports. That's all you need to learn how to do. You got your discovery videos. You got your free online, my first book, 36 Proven Winning Overlay Angles. That's online, free for you. And all the other articles I've written over the years to help you understand how to use the reports, how to read the reports, etc. These reports are very powerful if you know how to use them. This page is the Horse Racing Digest page, also known as the free area. This page is free. All you have to do is invest your time. You don't have to invest any money to learn how to be familiar with our reports. And it's free to learn. And the rewards, once you dig in and absorb, the rewards are tremendous for those who do their studying. Okay? Alright, we'll let you go on that note. Very good video. Good luck with all your bets.